It's develop the skills and the spots to earn the right to hit it hard. There is so much pressure in MLP, and the new players, it can be overwhelming for a new player that is total rookie playing MLP for the first time. There's a lot of eyeballs. It's a team atmosphere, and there are significant nerves, way more than any individual tournament could play.
Is it the mental component more important than the physical? Is strategy more important?
Yes, and I don't even think it's that close.
80-20.
Kristen, it's pod 48.
It's Pickleball Fate.
You're tuned in now to this pickleball life. I'm K-Dubs and Chili B is my wife. She's the pro and I've got the filler. She's sweet to me, but on the court she's a killer. Unadulterated and efficiently bringing you the best and worst things in PB. Tell your friends and stay for another. And no one loves us more than your mother. One thing's for sure, one hit and you're addicted. Grab a pile, grab a court, don't resist it. So click subscribe, let's go, let's get cracking. Theme song done, let's go, let's get laughing. This pickleball life.
Do you remember when I was playing with Colin Schick and I hit an Ernie against Irina Tereshchenko and Max Manthau? And we won the point. I went and rubbed my nose, and then I hand tapped him with the same hand.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I did notice some nose rubbing.
Yeah. What's wrong with me?
I also remember when Colin hit you with one of his thirds.
In the head, back of the head.
And you turned around and went, what do you call that?
Friendly fire.
Nelson?
Yeah, a friendly Nelson, a friendly third shot drop. K-Dubs, we are home. Finally, it has been 3 weeks on the road.
This place looked so familiar.
My real question is, do you think the cats missed us or had no clue we were even gone?
They thought they'd been replaced. We'd been replaced by new mommies and daddies. Yes, today we have a little different pod. It's not a road pod. That's different.
Patio pod.
But we have such an incredible interview that if you've been listening, we've been teasing because we are actually so legitimately excited for you to finally hear the Scott Crandall, the pro for the pros, the coach of all coaches, the interview you've been waiting for.
Yep.
So we are going to take your game from meh to yeah.
From so-so to whoa.
You are not going to want to miss 1 second of this super special interview. So
this pod is going to be like a stand-alone pod,
but
focused on Scott.
We are going to deep dive into last week's MLP back-to-back, going from Salt Lake City to, where are we going next?
Ohio?
Oklahoma?
Kansas, Missouri.
South Dakota.
Tomorrow. We're going to Missouri.
Wichita?
We're going to Missouri at 4 a.m. tomorrow.
Kansas City, Missouri.
There you go.
Yeah, Betty. And we're going to back-to-back those with one major interview with each other next pod.
Wait, so there's going to be a major interview next week with each other to go over MLP Salt Lake City and Kansas.
Barbara Walters you.
Oh, you're going to Barbara Walters me. Okay.
The only thing holding this pod together is ketone IQ.
I am.
We have been nonstop. Just real quick, I do want to mention me personally. I have gone straight from Orange County to Michigan to Colorado to Utah.
I forgot you went
forgot for a second where we just were.
I forgot you went to Michigan. I literally forgot you haven't been home for like 3.5 weeks.
Yeah, Beer City. I wasn't going to miss it. It had beer in the title. She was like, I'm not going.
So
I'm like,
you were saying,
can I still go?
The only thing holding you together is ketone IQ.
Yeah, ketone IQ. It's the only thing holding you together.
And the Jumbo Visma Peloton cycling
It's the
team.
only thing holding the Peloton together.
Yeah, the entire Peloton.
Other than, aerodynamics and wheels. Should we talk about ketone first?
Absolutely. Looking for clarity? Ketone IQ can help you feel sharper, more focused, and ready to take on any task. Visit ketone.com/JillyB for 30% off your first subscription order and unlock the benefits of drinkable ketones, allowing you to return to an ancient source of energy on demand.
According to PubMed, 87% of people see an improvement in brain network stability after drinking Ketone IQ.
Proven to support endurance and recovery, ketone supplements are trusted by the world's top performers, from Navy SEALs and Tour de France cyclists to pro athletes across major sports.
Ketone IQ ships free inside the US, and it's backed by a 60-day money-back guarantee. So ride the ketone wave risk-free at ketone.com/JillyB for 30% off your first order.
And they just came out with a ketone plus caffeine product. Super exciting.
Super exciting. So ketone up.
We did have one major piece of news to tease.
Is this the part where I know what to say?
I just wanted you to say what you wrote down.
Oh, okay. What I wrote
In the
down.
notes.
Oh, in the notes.
That says,
Okay,
like,
here we go. I
JB
got this.
colon.
I got this.
That's
Hold
you.
on. Oh, JB, my initials. Okay, I wasn't sure. Next week, we are going to be giving you the behind the scenes recap of the back-to-back MLPs, as we just said. But we're also going to be doing an awesome Mizuno giveaway. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a deep dive on, Saudi Arabia has officially entered the pickleball chat, you guys. That's right. And we predicted this a couple pods ago. This new global pickleball tour is offering $15 million in prize money in 2025. So what does that mean, Kristen, for the UPA and pickleball in general?
I have 4 letters. FOMO is what it means.
Well, hint, they may be keeping their friends close and their enemies even closer. So we are going to deep dive on this next week. Until then, enjoy MLP Coach of the Year, Scott Crandall. All right, pod listeners, we have a very special guest. Scott Crandall, the SoCal lefty, is not only one of the top senior pros in the country, he is also one of the most winningest coaches in MLP history for his team and now my team, the Bay Area Breakers. Scott is my coach and coached to many top pro players like Jesse Irvin, Lacey Schneeman, Vivian Glosman, and others. Scott showed up to Jeff's house about 7 minutes ago and learned he'd be on a podcast. So, Scott, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Is this what we call like a podcast kidnapping or,
Yes.
or
So,
holding
Scott,
you for ransom?
your background is actually in technology. So how the heck did you end up in this crazy world of pickleball?
So I worked for Amgen for 15 years, just a very corporate job. And
Biotech?
yeah, biotech. And it was great. It was a great company. It was a good life, but I didn't realize until I stopped working that like corporate life is still a prison.
Yeah.
And once you get out, it's like, oh my God, I wouldn't go back to do a corporate job for, 20 times, like whatever. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
So it was nice to stop working the corporate job. And then at that time I was just kind of teaching tennis and just being a bum. And then someone came along, and while I was preparing for a tennis tournament with Jesse Irvin and Gabriel Joseph and this one other guy who we were sort of scouting to see if he could play in our tournament, he's like, he knew that Gabe and Jesse were top paddle tennis players.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jesse, you're so good at this. You could make money playing pickleball. And we're like, pickle what? and he's like, we're like, well, how much money? And it's like, oh, there's, you can win thousands, and they have these tournaments a lot. And in 2018, end of 2018,
And sometimes they feed you lunch.
sometimes depending on, there was no pro tour at the time. There was, the old school pickleball tour was probably, 6 or 8 tournaments held all over the year. It's like, but in paddle tennis, you can only win like $500 twice a year. So that's not you can't make a career out of that. It's just a hobby. So when Jessie heard that she could make money at this, like the next day, went to Big Five, got a couple paddles, and then we just started practicing.
Oh my God, I love this. I didn't know any of this.
A week later, she plays in a 4-5 tournament with AJ Johnson, a local guy who we played with at the park, the nicest guy, which they won. And then 2 weeks after that, there was like a pro tournament in Tustin. And then, so she played with Marcin, who at the time was
legend.
top 3 in the world. He was amazing. And they played against Lindsay Newman and Callan Dawson, and then I think they beat them in the main draw.
Wow, that's a good win.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Marcin probably was like the brains of pickleball at that moment, right?
Yeah, it was clear that he was very, very
Outthinking,
good.
outthinking.
Extremely alpha, very smart player, very talented. It was fun to watch. A month in, I don't even know what I'm looking at. I'm just kind of watching this happen. And Jessie, they gave her like basic instructions. It's like, just hit the ball over here to the girl, and it's like,
move
just do
forward.
the best you can. And like, she was just a natural at it immediately.
Wow.
So it's like so point was, she was a pro within a month. You know, I was not good for a long time. I played 4-5 with Gabriel Joseph for 5 months before.
And Gabriel's like a top 5 singles player in the world. I love that you were playing 4-5 men's doubles with him way back when. That makes me so happy.
No, I mean, well, Dylan Frazier is the number 1 player in the world. He was 3-5 when he started. So starting from 0 at 4-5 is not bad. But Gabe and I had a great first year. But at the end of that year, it was kind of time to turn pro. But at the same time, I turned 50. So I'm like, Gabe, I love you.
Yeah.
But they have this other category that I get to play in.
And they pay out almost as much. So bye-bye.
At the time, they did. That changed quickly. But it was, I'm like, I'm going to go play with my peers. And he, so I abandoned him. Sorry, Gabe.
I love that. I didn't know any of that. Thank you for sharing that. You have coached everything from 3-0 players. I've never held a paddle before, and then up to obviously some of the best players in the world. So I'm really curious, in your mind, what separates, let's say, a 5-0 female to a 5-5 female and a 6-0 guy and a 6-5 guy? Because there's so many people who want to learn how to break through. I mean, Tom Webb was on our podcast the other day, and he said our APP pro tournaments have pre qualifiers.
Yeah, they have over 100 pros trying to play in every event.
It's interesting to watch the 5-0 girls coming up because they usually got there because they were great tennis players. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, a lot of the pro, whether it's male or female, it's the tennis instincts and tennis skills that kind of get you in the door as a decent player. And then how far you go depends on how much of that can you forget in order to choose the right shot selection for pickleball.
Brilliantly said.
So that's there's a ceiling that your tennis skills and tennis decisions will take you to, and then you need to forget that. And I kind of tell people, I work with a lot of these type of players, and I will let you say, oh well, that's just from my tennis life. Yeah, you can say that for a month, maybe 2, but if you've been playing more than 6 months, I don't want to hear it. You're not playing tennis. You're trying to play pickleball. So you need to make pickleball decisions, and you need to run a different operating system. And so usually people, I see a lot of good high level girls at 5-0 who just bang the ball. Yeah. And they do a little bit of soft game, but they haven't, I'm kind of picturing one that I watched play with a friend at the tournament last week, and it's like her defensive hands were really good, running all over the court. But then once she got up to the kitchen, it's like there wasn't much of a plan, and she hit too many balls to the opposing guy. Mm-hmm. It's like there's so much more strategy. You don't need to beat the guy. You just need to beat one player.
I feel like I see a lot of people with the tennis background, tennis talent, or athletic talent in anything. They get to pickleball and they're like, well, when I hit the ball really hard, it usually goes over the net. And when I try and start to incorporate soft game, in the net, I start missing it short. And that's an automatic loss. So I feel like I'm just going to hedge my bets and just keep ripping. And as we were kind of talking earlier, there's playing to get better, and there's playing to not lose, and there's practice, rec, and then there's tournaments. But what advice would you give to someone who's trying to kind of evolve their game past that phase?
First, you have to have like an accurate assessment of what you're doing and what you can do. As I watch people and evaluate, right? It's like part of being a coach for an MLP team is I have to scout. Mm-hmm. And so what I notice is I look at, and people are going to do their shot selections. They're going to do what they're comfortable with. Yeah. And so most of these people we're talking about who are trying to level up, what they're comfortable with is not usually the correct soft pickleball shot. Right. What they're comfortable with is, when in doubt, hit the ball hard, because that instinct worked in tennis for your entire career. Like to me, tennis, it's like there's only a couple of tools, but if your tool is a hammer and you can hit every shot you can hit really hard, that works.
Yeah.
That works. If you're super athletic and can hit every ball hard, you're going to win. So there's one tool, it's a hammer. Use it on every shot.
Right.
Pickleball is not that.
Do you feel like it's almost a circle though? So it's like learn your tennis, forget it. Now we're ready to put the aggression back into you after a certain amount of time. So I just went through this with my sister. She was like, all I've been doing is dinking and resetting. Now you're telling me I can swing? I thought you beat the aggression out of me. It's like, no, but it's this process. So do you find you have to put it back into the tennis player after it's been somewhat beaten out?
Or is it kind of what you said? Like if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. But as you get better at pickleball, you also, find a saw and a pencil. Now you have 3 tools.
Yeah. So yes, as you develop these tools, then it's no longer just a simplistic, oh, I'm either going to hit everything hard all the time or I'm going to hit everything soft all the time. Now it's not just one or the other. It's now patterns. So it's like, okay, I can hit it soft. I can hit it medium. I can hit it hard with spin, with top spin, with back spin, deep, short, to this person, and in these combos. And then if I do these things with the goal being, can I get a ball that's far enough up that now I can pull the trigger? And so it's developed the skills and the spots to earn the right to hit it hard.
And how much,
I love that.
How much would you say of quote unquote being aggressive or hitting it hard is really just hitting it down versus how much speed you're putting on it?
Yeah, I mean at the higher levels, that is, I do spend a lot of time telling people that I work with, like in the midst of that last hands battle, it's like the person who's getting it down is winning. It's like and you kind of when you watch the pros, there's certain people just hit the ball hard. They take big swings, and some people don't take swings. They just stick their paddle out and get it down. Like, currently Hayden Patrick-Quinn is having a huge upswing. He's leveling up. And when you watch what he's doing both. He throws his paddle out there, so his hands are super fast. He's hitting it hard, but it's like he gets it pointed down.
Yeah.
And so he's, he and Riley actually did have a few extended just full swinging hands battles when they played mixed over the weekend, but eventually Hayden gets the ball down effectively. I think he's a good example of that. It's like, yes, it's fast, it's hard, but it's always eventually he's getting the ball down first, because he's got a live wrist and he can just kind of tilt the thing downwards. Right. Whereas some of the other thing I noticed about people who are good at it, they're making contact with the ball. They're standing on the kitchen and they're making contact a foot in front of the kitchen. And then there's other people who, when it comes, they take the paddle back and they want to swing at it. And they're making contact at the kitchen line and the ball might be a little lower. They're going to hit it. They're not going to be able to get down on it. And now we're in this waist high, bang, 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 bang.
Yes.
So
I see that a lot at the 4-0 level.
I see it a lot at the 5-0 and 5-5 level. It's like, to me, that's the difference between, you ask about the difference between a 6-0 and 6-5 guy. It's like still some of the 6-0 guys are trying to
get through people
power to kind of finish points and do things because that's what got them to 6-0. Yeah. Right. It's like I'm kind of a 5-5 level player. Yeah. But when I play a 6-0 younger guy, they can all overpower me.
I played with Jack Monroe at the PPA San Clemente last week, and something he did that was so interesting was he would have, he's lefty, so he'd be on the right, and he'd get a backhand that was pretty high, and, the guy's sitting middle to protect middle, thinking it's going to come so hard, and Jack would just hit it feathery soft down the line, and then the guy would get it back, barely, and then he would do the same thing again. And there's nobody home and the ball's moving very slowly. So I think we're seeing this kind of crop of the next generation players really leveraging that, like, get the ball down and off speed winning the point, because we all have good hands and we all want the ball fast. That's what we want. I want someone to hit it fast. I want someone to put it right on my paddle. So I don't want it to bounce off speed and kick funny, right?
Right. So much of defense is anticipation. So you are anticipating speed and you don't get it. Yeah. You're going to have a more likelihood of an error, right?
Yeah, well, once these hands battles start, then everyone just goes straight lizard brain.
Yeah.
Right.
Lizard brain.
But Jack Monroe, he has like, I think because this is his second pickleball life. He was good when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Before the pro scene came out, he was already one of the, I think he was the youngest 5-0. And he's also known for having like kind of a lot of trick shots and variety in his game. And it's like, I don't think he's so good. He doesn't go lizard brain.
Yeah.
In this, he keeps his mind open, and he's like, what can I do with this rather than just like bang, bang, bang. It's like, no, well, this would be cute. And then that would be cute. And it's like, and then he turns and looks at the camera and goes, that's a highlight.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you keep control of your brain in the midst of a firefight?
And that's something you taught me with taking the forehand dinks in the air. You're like, Jill, when you start to really take more of those in the air, all of a sudden at the last second, you're going to be able to lob it. You're going to be able to flick it inside out. You're going to be able to speed up in front of you. It's just turning off that lizard brain, right? And finding that wait moment at the very last second.
Yeah, I mean, for that example of like you're kind of reaching in from the left with your forehand to take balls out of the air and do stuff with that. Yeah. It's like, okay, well, we're usually talking about a slow moving ball. Yeah. And then what your options are going to depend on how high is this ball? Does it have any spin? How far do I have to reach? The further I have to reach, the less I can really do with it. But if I'm getting a good look at that, and then where are they? So you have a little bit of time, even as that ball's coming, to see what you want to do. I think it's like that. You just have to have your 6 practiced options. Yep. Kind of loaded, so you go through the progressions of them.
All of that sounds very high level and possibly over some of our audience's heads. But I think you touched on some things that might be concrete examples of how to take your game to the next level. And one of which is, you said people aren't very good at recognizing what it is they should be working on. What would you say if someone videos their game would be a good way of assessing what the heck went on here? What are they looking for?
That's a great question, because I do spend a lot of time doing that for people on my team. I do it for myself, and I look at kind of the different aspects of the game. Like right off the bat, it's like, how deep are these average returns coming in? Okay, like, is my return putting me behind early? Like, how often is a bad return like making me be on the receiving end of a huge drive? Because everyone's got a good drive now, and it's like, I don't want to have to be dealing with that.
Kitchen arrival goes down because you were already behind the 8 ball from the jump.
Yeah, so it's like, if I'm looking at someone's return game, it's like, okay, well, what is your return quality, and how is it affecting the quality of their third, and how easy your fourth shot is, and how easy are you siding them out?
So would you say depth of return is the number one most important thing, and second would be the trajectory?
Consistent depth would allow you to get closer into the kitchen.
That advantage you have in pickleball, being that the receiving team gets to basically have 2 players at the net immediately.
Yes, it helps you get in closer, and it prevents them. They still have to let it bounce, and if they're hitting their drive from the baseline, well, good. At least I have, 22 plus 7 feet to handle it. It's like I'm 30 feet away. Thank goodness. But it's like, well, if my return,
just 22 total, isn't it?
On half, and then
I think it's 40. Oh no, it's 60. So it's 60. Yeah, 30.
But 22 to the net, and another 7.
Yes.
And then, but if I haven't made it all the way in, but the shorter it is, now that thing's getting on me quick. It's getting on me quickly, and they're following it. So anyway. Return depth is one thing. The next
thing, you're returning it deep, but it's kind of floaty, is that okay?
It's fine, because that floaty gives you time.
Okay.
And I've played when I first started playing senior pro, I used to play with Takako, and she lives up in the Pacific Northwest. She's great. She lobs almost every serve and almost every return.
Nice.
And it's like,
gives her time to come in and set her feet.
Because it's like almost every point we have this time to kind of post up. And it's like, it really does not cause us any problems.
Yeah. If
We've
someone wants to
seen-
rip a return from the baseline, from the very back, go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. It's a hard shot to consistently pull off and
Yeah.
make work. And really, it's going to just probably cause a lot of errors.
Yeah, and it might not be giving you much benefit to begin with. We've seen a lot of people evolve away from the low slice return. Do you see that evolution yourself? Or do you still see...
Well, Scott has to answer the
see that
other
for
parts of your question, Kristen, on number 1 returns, number 2.
Okay, so the second thing,
Okay, I was still on returns, but go ahead.
The next thing that I kind of look for is the efficiency of how often are these people getting to the kitchen when
Yep.
they're hitting the thirds. It's like not how many thirds do I make so much as did it get me in.
Right.
And then that's what I kind of do for my team, and then I kind of show it to them and tell them why. It's like,
Yeah.
you only got in this match. You guys only got in 5 out of 11 times. That's not good enough in that game. And here's where it went wrong.
That is a wisdom bomb that you just
Right.
dropped. I hope everyone is really taking in. Perfect example of this is my match with my sister over the weekend against the Walker sisters. It was my sister's first pro tournament. Afterwards, she says to me, I didn't miss a third, but we never got in.
Yeah.
It literally demonstrates what you just said.
And again, it's the evolution of like my thirds are in the net. Now I'm getting them over the net, but they're not doing anything for me.
It's not about that. It's about the movement. It's about getting in with your partner. It's her
Right.
thirds were doing stuff, but we weren't reacting to them the right way.
Okay.
Yeah, and I feel like when we were like in the middle of that match, we said, let's drive it to let's see if we can drive it to their backhand side so that they're still making that volley, but I bet you can hit a
Get an
better
easy
fifth. I bet you can hit a better fifth off of their backhand volley than
Yep.
off of their forehand volley. And then I think you guys, things turned around a little bit.
So what should kitchen arrival be in a percentage for pros? And then what should it be as a goal for, 4-0 player, 5-0 player?
I think I saw Real Clear Stats did this for one of the MLPs, and I think the Kawamotos were very high. I think close to high
88?
70s or 80.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I think for the men, I think Matt Wright was at the top. And it's with high 70s or 80s. And it's like, I would have expected, I assumed Anna Lee and Ben would just be at the top of everything because they are the best at everything. But then when I started watching, like with that in mind, then I start watching Matt play, and it's like, I mean, his drop looks very, very simplistic. He's not doing anything. There's no shoulders. He just
Plops
shovels it over the net.
Yep.
It bounces, and then he walks his way in, hits his fifth, cross court, and then boom, he's there.
So for anyone that wants to improve their third shot drops, I think Matt is a perfect person to go watch because it's like what you just said. There's nothing crazy fancy. And then he kind of casually strolls in. I love that.
Yeah, you can't. It's like you can't prevent him from getting in, really.
So he doesn't need a rush.
And it's like now he does have. He hits it. He'll hit this drop down the line. They have to let it bounce, and then he kind of baits them into firing at him.
Yes.
And then his backhand counter
Gnarly.
is very, very punishing. So he kind of is playing a little
Bait ball.
Yeah, he's baiting. Why don't you just? I'm standing straight up. Why don't you fire it at me? And then you immediately
He
regret
doesn't
your
bend a lot,
decision.
does he?
I know.
No.
I need to model my game after him because I hate bending. And he's like standing straight up, and all I'm doing is working on getting my butt on the ground. My energy and my effort output is way too high on the court. I want to stand
I'm not
straight up
recommend-
like Matt Wright. Teach me how to do it.
No, well, okay,
No,
You
my
need-
coach says no.
no, because you have to have his hands to do it.
Yeah, you have to have that speed, the strength.
Yeah.
But I will say that does remind me of something. Do you know where I'm going with this?
No.
Either of you, because this is a Scott Crandall piece of advice for right side cross-court thinking,
Oh.
modeling after Colin Johns.
Mm.
Again, like finding the person who
moving
does it
a
the
lot.
most simplistically,
Mhm.
not the person who does it with the most whiz bang, touch, feel, spin. People get so kind of curious, and this is absolutely true in golf. They're like, how do I get backspin? How do I make the ball bite? It's like, if we can just control trajectory and plop the ball on your spot, we're golden. And I think there's a lot to be said about finding that that example in pros that isn't a lot of flash and snazzy. It's just effective. Would you agree that that's something that someone should look for in whatever their weakness is? Find the simplest version of it that works.
100%. What I find most of the time when people ask me, "Hey, I need some help with dinking," they usually want to dink aggressively.
Totally.
And there's a lot of people out there. I mean, I think if you ask James Ignatowicz how dinks should be, he wants to hit every dink aggressively. It's not my style. I don't actually agree with that because it could go wrong in too many ways. Like, I think you should have a variety. It's like you can have an aggressive dink, but I think I like to start a point. Like, I want my first dink to kind of be just unattackable and get that thing in. Let's just establish that we're all here at the kitchen, and now we're in a kitchen point. I don't want to work my way all the way up there. First ball I see, I try to hit this, two-hand topspin roll dink, and then it flies a little too far, and then my partner, they reach out and light up my partner.
Right.
I'm like, I just did all the work to get here. So like that first dink is so important to me. I'm like, nope, this thing is just going to bounce and be unattackable, and then you have to dink it to me. And now, like, to me, that's I'm setting the cadence and dictating the point. I'm dictating that we're going to start soft.
Correct.
I'm not just, and it's going to be a long point. I get some information, about my opponent and what they like and what they don't like. So there's nothing wrong with aggressive dinks. Like any aggressive play, you have to earn it. So it's like, I'll hit an aggressive dink, but only after I've kind of hit one here and hit one here. And now I've got you pinned to the middle and you popped it up, and then I'll roll you wide aggressively.
Right.
So, or, whatever it is, I have to earn the aggressive shot.
Earn the aggressive. I love that. And so if Colin Johns is our poster child for right side simplistic dinking, Jill obviously is not our poster child for left side dinking. And I struggle with my left side dinking. Who is the simplistic version
Wait,
of
why am I not a
left-side
poster
dinking?
child?
Because you're so good at doing it athletically.
Oh, because I put speed on
and
it.
doing all the crazy stuff that takes talent, right? That I can't necessarily execute, right? You're too far above my beacon of possibilities, right? Who's the overly simplistic left side player?
The Colin Johns of the left side
Exactly.
to watch. Interesting.
That's a good question. Having just watched Jesse and Tina play a bunch of matches this week and have a lot of success, and Tina plays on the left. Her slice backhand everything. Her slice backhand dink. She puts good spin on it. It lands short, doesn't bounce up really high. And it sets the tone. You're going to play the point on her, kind of on her terms. And it's, you can roll that thing back, but you risk missing, or you risk popping it up.
So a lot of what we're saying is fewer moving parts, right? You don't have the arm moving, the wrist moving, the shoulder moving, the torso moving.
Yeah. You
can set yourself and just eliminate a lot of the variables. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah. The other person who I think who is pretty simplistic and maybe someone you could look at and copy how they do it is Tyson. It's like, I think his basics are so good
strong.
at everything. So it's like, if you're if you're not a pro player and you're looking to how do I improve just my fundamentals, you can watch almost anything he does is just fundamentally sound.
Just not a lot of face rotation.
Yeah.
Maybe on the forehand.
Yeah, a lot of Tyson, when I picture it, is a lot of reaching and volleying and getting the ball down, kind of having that time taken away from your opponent. Is that what you like about his game?
He does that effectively, but he's not the tallest guy on tour, so he has to move his feet and handle these off the bounce.
Yeah.
And I think he's he plays bigger than he is because he's so good at kind of big lunge, full reach, and he still hits a good shot. Most people don't when they're at full reach, but he moves his feet pretty fast. But your question was who makes it simple, right? We wanted to hey, how could it's like, it's hard to tell people, I want you should think like Connor Garnett. It's like, well, he has a lot of footwork and a lot of action and a lot of skill in that two-hander. It's like, I don't think that can be, you can copy it, but it's hard to copy that. Whereas what Tyson does is maybe kind of higher percentage and more repeatable. If we're looking for someone, it's like, what pro could maybe I could.
No, I think that's super helpful.
Smart like that.
So you talk so much about decision making. That's kind of a through line I've heard here. Choosing the right shots, earning the ability to speed it up, which I love, by the way. Do you find that pickleball, maybe because it's so much less physical than our big sister tennis, is it the mental component more important than the physical? Is strategy more important?
To me, it's like, it's not even, yes. And I don't even think it's that close.
80-20. 90-10.
It like, I mean, it's hard to put a percentage on that, but like pickleball it's constant shot selection and options. Whereas tennis, it's your option is, do I want to hit to their backhand or their forehand, but I'm still hitting this ball as hard as I can.
Yeah, every single time. There's no decelerate, very little deceleration.
It's like now there's a few more like drop shots and crazy stuff in tennis. They're doing that more, but they're doing it for kind of the highlights. It's like, it's not really the strategy the coach wants to run. But pickleball, it's like the points last so much longer. You have to be able to hit it hard, hit it soft. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to put it, you've got to be able to put it anywhere on the court. Mm-hmm. You have to analyze the skills of the two people in front of you. And that's, you're playing 5 or 6 matches in a day in a regular tournament. And so that's constantly changing. And so you're evaluating what they're not good at and what they are good at and adjusting your game to it. There's a lot more going on. And then here's the other thing that I think is underappreciated at so many of these tournaments is the conditions of the court, the wind, the fastness or slowness of the court,
the grittiness,
the visuals of the fans behind. Like when I'm watching on the stream, I don't get to go to all the tournaments. I'm watching on the screen and I see someone wearing a bright yellow shirt behind the court. I'm like, I would ask that person to move. But just like, anyway, the visuals and all of I feel like dealing with the conditions, especially the wind being kind of the biggest one to me. The players, I feel like who handles the conditions better is at least 50% of kind of the outcome of a match. It's a very important, just wind in pickleball is so hard to deal with.
So when it's a windy day, I'm like, oh, the coin flip is going to win this match.
There are so many matches that where that is 100% the case. The broadcasters never really, admit to that or talk about that, but the scores tell you.
I know. They tell you because they're like, oh, it's
game 1 is 11-4, exactly. Game 2 is 3-11.
Exactly.
Then we switched up 6-2 and then lost the match.
Exactly. Yeah. And so for those listening at home, you always want to typically end against the wind.
There was a good...
Agree? You like to end into the wind?
In the pro lounge, this debate was kind of going on, and I think...
Depends how strong the wind is?
I think that the top guys like to be with the wind. That's their preference, unless it's really strong, and then they don't mind being against it because then they can still manage it. But everyone's game style is a little different.
Yeah.
When you're with the wind, you have such a big advantage on the hands battles once you get up to the kitchen because your ball is getting on them, and their ball is slowing down.
Interesting.
Right, but when the wind's behind you and you're dinking, well, your dink's going to pop up and they're going to reach out. And so you got to be a little more careful with that. Whereas if you're dinking into the wind, I can hit this. I can give you that little bait ball. And when the wind knocks it down, you think you're getting it, but it's lower. It's like the wind knocks it down. So it's just and I think most of the pros, there's kind of a miles per hour limit where they're like, well, if it's less than 15, I'll go ahead and be with it. If it's more than 15 miles an hour, I think like against it, I can put balls in play. But everyone everyone kind of has a different preference with that.
I actually prefer downwind, just to be clear, because I'm like, oh, I just have to touch my third and I just hit the world's most perfect drop. Like I just have to breathe on it. So I like my kitchen arrival once I'm up. So I don't know. I always thought I was the weird one though, because I thought everyone really preferred being against.
Yeah, I think now that the game is becoming a little more offensive, where there's more drive and crash. And with the wind, you can run that play.
Yeah.
Because it just gets on people so quickly. I think also the smaller swings.
Yes.
Smaller swings work better in the windy conditions.
Yes.
The pickleball.
Both directions.
Yeah. If you think about how,
For sure.
like how versus, almost any other sport, a pickleball, you can, you hit it 40 miles an hour and then it's slowing down with all the holes in it and the way it's designed. And then it bounces. And then by the time it gets to you, it's almost not even moving.
Yeah.
And then, so that's when the wind is going to affect it the most.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
the pickleball moves the most, the last, 4 feet of its travel before it gets to you. And when it's windy, then, you're hitting the math that you did on where it's going to be is not done until
Needs a recalc.
until after it's bounced. And the people who have their old tennis technique of they've predicted it and they set up and their feet are planted, they're going to have to reach. They're going to hit a ball that's not a strike because they didn't make last second small step adjustments.
Yeah, you really got to watch the ball more intently in the wind. I feel like that focus on like really watching until the last moment of contact, where we sometimes get a little lax, right?
And it's super easy to say, and it's very hard to do.
Totally.
Okay, so you said the only thing holding you together earlier was ketone IQ. I have to say, obviously, I'm taking ketone as well, but holding me together has been Rainstorm. So much so that it is painful when I go to MLP and Rain is not a sponsor.
I know.
And I'm like going up to the other sponsor players like, anyone got a Rainstorm? Like, yeah, need my hit,
Yes.
give me my hit.
And we were nutso for the citrus zest flavor.
Yeah,
but
they have a new flavor.
And now the mango is really like neck and neck, and the strawberry apricot, that's really worth trying.
Did you say yesterday we just got a box with new flavors and you didn't tell me what those new flavors were? Why are you hiding this from me?
No, they were the old new flavors.
Oh,
Sorry.
the old new. So mango?
Yeah, so mango.
So good.
And strawberry apricot. Ooh, I do not have a future at Wheel of Fortune, clearly. For those of you who are listening on audio, I just very klutzily, is that a word? Banged into the Rainstorm. But yeah, definitely check it out. And don't forget that they are running a taste test right now. So you can go on the website. I'll put the link in the description. Let us know in the comments what your favorite flavor is.
Yes.
Are you a citrus zester like us? Or are you more of a kiwi, strawberry, guava? So many good
It is
flavors to choose.
rainstormtastetest.com. We're putting our money where your mouth is. That's super cute. If you don't like the taste of Rainstorm, we will send you your money back. So if you guys want to be fueled while you are playing with clean energy, no jitters, this is the drink for you. 0 sugar, plant-based caffeine. It'll also accelerate your metabolism, improve your focus. I love me some Rainstorm.
Totally.
I have a question for you. As talking to my sister, who's just such an applicable example for this as she's going on her journey from tennis player to, now 5'4". And she said, Jill, my fourths are so bad. And I think I know why. I'm watching the ball, but I think I should be watching my opponents. So how often or how much do you think in pickleball, all of us should be really focusing on, the tennis is watch the ball, never take your eye off the ball, ball, rule 1, 2, and 3, watch the ball. And then here we are in pickleball, so close in distance to our opponents. They're moving around like wild animals, poaching after they hit a good third. Like how much of our time should be spent watching them versus the ball and our partner? It's a lot going on.
It is. The less you're going to watch your opponent, the more you better be hitting a safe shot. Right? You can always hit any shot into the kitchen. So if you're not paying attention to them, you better hit a safe shot. But if you're not really watching them and you're just doing your thing, trust me, they're reading what you're doing. And if you are, if you telegraph you're going to hit a ball hard to a player who's kind of moving in that you didn't watch, you're asking for trouble. to me, the key to fourths is how quickly can you judge, am I taking it out of the air or is it going to bounce? And then, okay, is it going to bounce up high so I can step back and be offensive with it? Or is this a really good drop? I better move and just respect it and hit a dink over here. Or it's like, oh, I think I can take this out of the air and keep them back, sort of. Or like, if I'm volleying it, at least they don't have time to come in. So I'm taking their time away if I can take it out of there. But you have to figure that out. You have to almost as it comes off their paddle.
Yeah, have a decision.
You have to figure that out. And the people who, I think the lazy move is
the reach, no matter what. They reach,
they want to take it out of the air, and then they can't. And now I'm late moving my feet to handle it. And then, most amateurs compound that with, when in doubt, they do what they're comfortable with, which is whack it.
Smack. Yeah.
Right. And so those are just errors that are costing you points, right? Because these are fourths. They're the serving team. So that's like missing a return in regular scoring is the worst thing you can do because it's an immediate point. But screwing up the fourth, that is an underappreciated skill at the amateur level. The pros do it really well. The ones you watch, the pros you watch on the stream, I think for the most part make very good decisions with their fourth because they're respecting the quality of the third.
Yeah.
And they hit an appropriately safe, I guess we're just starting a kitchen point now.
I think it's the most underrated skill, the fourth shot. And when you said it's not that respected at the amateur level, I said higher level. And what I meant was higher level amateurs. They don't appreciate the power of that fourth shot. And when we watch it on TV and we watch it on the stream, it looks like nothing.
Right.
That's what makes it so special.
Yeah. When you watch pickleball and you see it, like when you're watching it, you're used to, you know what the right answer is, and they usually do the right thing. But when that's you handling that, it's amazing how awkward it can look.
So we talked a bit about the coin toss and the wind, but one thing that's really special about MLP that people don't necessarily always appreciate is you're not only picking, do I want to serve or receive or side like you do in a normal match, but you have 5 decisions, right? Or sort of 6. Yeah. So what's your strategy going into an MLP coin toss?
I think most teams, the first thing they want to do is react to the mixed lineup, right? Because each MLP match starts with gender doubles, and whether it's women's or men's, which one goes first, that's also a choice. But that lineup is going to be the same no matter what. But in mixed, if we have a team that is clearly stronger than another one, then depending on the score of the gender, we may need only one match, in which case, it would make sense. I want my best team going against their second best team. I would love to have the opportunity to choose that. But if we're down 0-2, we have to win both.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, then I want my one against their, I need 2 chances to win. And then if it's,
Right. So you can't always predict what situation you're going to be in after 2 games, but is that something that you go into every opponent kind of trying to predict before you make that coin toss? Like knowing, okay, our strongest, assets are our gendered doubles, men's say, or whatever. Then we know, okay, we want to start with that point, and then we know, we want to react to their mixed. Or does it change for you depending on who you're going up against?
So that not that scenario that I'm so confident in this team that I want them to go first. There is so much pressure in MLP, and the new players, it can be overwhelming for a new player that is total rookie playing MLP for the first time. This is a lot of eyeballs. It's a team atmosphere, and there are significant nerves, way more than any individual tournament you're playing.
Yeah, for starters, a lot of these players aren't even on streams most of the time. MLP, every match is streamed.
There's some new people out there who are being put in some high stress positions. And so I will kind of look at that and think, well, first of all, do my girls or guys, it's like, do I feel like my team feels confident? And then, so is their team not confident?
Yeah.
So how can I use that?
Smart.
So it's really not so much, I like my guys or my girls so much, I want to send them out. It's more of, can I use their nervousness against them?
Love that.
That would be that's how I would evaluate which gender goes first. But it's typically, I would like to react to mixed doubles.
First and foremost.
And then the other thing, like when we talked about side in a regular tournament matters, because, you start on side A and then game 2, you play side B. And if side B is the better side, then you get to finish the match of game 3 on side B. Well, in MLP, you play,
after you go from
it keeps switching back and
to
forth.
Women's,
it
or
keeps switching back and
or,
forth. So it's like, you start, the women start on side A, halfway through they go to side B, and then the men start on side B, and then they finish on side A. So side no longer matters so much
I actually
in MLP decisions. So it's like, like deciding, reacting to lineups seems to be the most important thing. That could change if it's super windy. It could change, and then so it's like if the conditions are such that there is a certain side, I do kind of have some deeper level analysis that I'm saving for.
But ultimately, it's an equal amount on both sides, so it's less effective. I mean, obviously that's sort of true in a game to 11, but
it's not as I don't think it's as vital as it is in a regular scoring match.
Yeah, and then I think we've seen an evolution in MLP of realizing that you may not have to be a single superstar, but you have to be able to not crack in a dream breaker. But I feel like when I played my one MLP minor league pickleball that at a low level, so few people play singles, that reacting to the dream breaker actually became the trump card. But do you feel like there are ever teams where you think that that's more or less important?
And where are the days of junking up the lineup?
I know that's the evolution I feel like we've seen is we don't see men versus women very much anymore.
It's a lot. So I think there's so many different pieces to singles. It's hard we did it once, and it worked for us. But it got down to 20 all, and we ended up with their number 1 girl against our number 2 girl at 20 all, and our number 2 girl won. Well,
so you succeeded despite yourself, sort of.
Correct. It's like, okay, that I wouldn't say we got lucky.
I do feel like I see a lot of males who are known for singles sometimes not play as well as you would think they would in Dream Breakers, because Dream Breaker singles is not the same as a singles match.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's like I'm looking for patterns and consistency. There are certain certain singles players who do consistently do very well, because it's hard to just win any point against them.
Yeah,
it's kind of, that's a little more tennis like.
Yeah.
Right. It's like in pickleball, oh my gosh, anyone can actually, maybe win a point against Ben. But like you go, play a ground game with Rafa Nadal, you're not going to win any points.
Right.
It's like, it's just so there's certain singles players where there's certain people that it's very hard to win any point. They are going to dominate. And so if that's the case, let me throw. But it's hard to throw, like I'll throw my number 2 girl at their number 1 guy. But then that number 2 girl is going to come back around in the lineup 3 times for sure. So are you making up enough?
Right, where she might not come up that 3rd time if you just keep her in that 4th slot.
Yeah, it's like, so will you make up enough ground on we're probably going to lose 4-0, 3-1. It's like, if she gets 1 point, that's...
yeah, that adds up quickly.
So it's so am I going to be winning these other scenarios? Now, if you have someone who you think, oh, well, maybe this girl can split with this guy. And now our number 1 girl can split with their number 2 guy.
I always look for the guy who doesn't want to play the girl. On every team, there is one guy who's like, do not put me up against a girl.
Yeah. Talk about the different pressures of MLP. Having that pressure of being the guy up against the girl is a different level.
Yeah, and it kind of comes down to it. It always comes down to execution.
Yeah.
But there is that pressure, and yes, if you identify someone who I'm a huge fan of giving the opponent whatever they don't want.
Exactly.
Yes,
I
that's
always
one of
say
Jill's
that.
favorites.
That's one of my favorite quotes is on every team, there's someone that likes it fast and someone that likes it slow. Your job's to figure out who's who and give them the opposite.
No, as a tennis player, I was never really that great. I didn't start early enough to be good. So every match I went into, it's like,
be smart.
I don't have an A game. My A game is making you play your B game.
That's so
That's a
good.
great
Right. So it's
phrase.
like I think that's why I'm better at pickleball than I am at tennis or ever was in tennis, because I could get overpowered. You could beat me with quality in tennis easily, but
Yeah.
in pickleball, it's like, oh, I've got a lot
Smart.
more options.
Yeah.
And I can make you do things that you don't want to do.
Yes. I was
so-
kind of a junkie tennis player. That's how I kind of self-describe. I'd just be like, oh, she doesn't like that. Oh, okay. Like I'll moonball. Oh, I can chip and charge. I'll serve and volley. Like what's going to make them uncomfortable? And you're right. Maybe that does translate a little bit to pickleball. I never thought of it like that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No. But yeah, you're reminding me in tennis that my whole operating system was what
What don't
not
they
want?
like?
What do
Yeah.
they not want? What do they not want?
I agree.
What am I doing, or what do I like?
Yeah.
That wasn't even. I wasn't even thinking that. It's like, what is it that they don't want, and I'm going to run that play. And now in pickleball, that play works really
Yeah.
well.
And for anyone listening at home, next time you're warming up for your next game, maybe spend the first couple minutes thinking, what do my opponents not like? Oh, she just got chicken winged. Or you know what? When she had to move forward after I returned, she missed that shot, right? Like spend the first 5 minutes of your next game kind of watching your opponents more. I don't think we do that enough.
Yeah, and I think Ben has given this advice before. Like early in a match,
Yeah.
lengthen the points.
Yes.
So that you get that data.
Yeah.
Right. It's like
Yeah, I
if
like
you just
that.
come out and you're nervous and like what I said before, like people do what they're comfortable with when they're nervous. Well,
Yeah.
don't just fire. Like try and have some longer points, even if
Test
it costs
them.
you, and see.
Yeah.
See if you can't evaluate them if you don't make them hit a bunch of shots. So if you have some long points early, now you've got some data.
Smart.
Right. And as a golf pro myself, I always feel like as an athlete, you can't hold yourself necessarily accountable for, I tried, I committed, I executed, and I failed. I tried to hit that spot and it didn't work out. You have to 100% just stay in the mode of, here's what I'm committing to, whether it works out or not. And I think sometimes people get too caught up in like, oh, I did what I thought I was supposed to and it didn't work out once. Well, that doesn't mean never ever do it again, right? You really have to stay committed more than just judging yourself based on how
Results.
what percentage of execution
That
worked
is
out.
so true. When like I'll come up, we'll talk game plan on our team, and we'll say, okay, we're gonna go to this person. We're gonna try to avoid player A. We're gonna hit the player B, and then in the middle of the game, the team will say it's not working, and I'm like, then do it better, right? It's still the right strategy. Make it work.
Yeah, I love that.
It's like it's not working so far. It's like, and a lot of times in amateur or at any level, it's like it's more than just hit the player B.
Yeah,
right? I'm just not
right.
going to spoon feed the ball over to you. I still have to hit a decent shot.
Right.
And I think that's the thing people kind of they're so hung up on. We've got to hit it there that they don't even hit a good shot there.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, no, keep hitting your shot to the
Yeah.
right place. We still want to avoid this person. We know who the best player on the court is. I don't need to beat them.
Right. Well, and taking the right data away from the point, noticing the right things about what did we lose that point because of the strategy, or did we lose that point for some XYZ other reason, or did we lose that point because they just hit some miraculous low percentage shot that you can't do anything about?
And that's very hard to analyze all that in the moment.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Which I think is why videos is so important for people to really look back at what really happened in that 13 minutes.
Yes, because after when it's like I'll ask people, so how did your match go? And no one is ever specific.
Yeah.
answering that
Like,
question.
oh, we lost.
Oh my God,
we
we
won.
were up 8-3, and then they just came back.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
Why?
did you hit it slow? Did
It's
you
like-
dink to their left foot? Were
Yeah.
you trying to lob?
What was
more?
your kitchen arrival percentage?
Correct.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
when you're up like that. It's like the most common thing is when someone's down 3-8 in the third, usually it's like, well, I've got nothing to lose now. Let me go for it. So if you have the lead and you're trying to defend against that, well, they're going to drive more. Let me be ready for this. Let me not give him any freebies, right? Because those first couple of freebies, it's like, well, now it's 5-8. Okay, and then now you get the ball back and you're a little nervous and you pop up your thirds and now they side you out and it's like, great, now it's 7-8 and my lead is gone because they were predictably aggressive and I didn't react. Then I got predictably nervous and didn't execute. And then now they have all the momentum and it's like, if I don't turn this around right now, I'm losing.
At 10-all in the second game against the Walker sisters, I turned to my sister, we were on serve, and I said, what happens here for most people is you'll get tight. Play more aggressive than you normally would here. First ball you get in the air on your paddle, go ahead and speed up. And she did, and we won the point really easily. And she said that was really good advice. So a question that I have for you is, it's 10-9 on a 1. You're on serve. Is your philosophy, don't change anything, dance with the girl that got you there? Is it play more conservatively or roll the dice, actually play more aggressively?
So at 10-9-1, you've got 2 chances to win the game.
Yes.
And so I would play that first point looking to maybe, I don't want to force aggression, but it's like I'm looking to be aggressive on that first one. And then if that works, great. And then if it doesn't, okay, I have the second point in my back pocket. Let's do whatever, whatever our kind of overall strategy is. I would want to look to be aggressive
on that first point because why not?
And sometimes that's just that, depending on the skill sets. It's like I like giving my partner like your advice to your sister. That's perfectly timed advice. Like right before the point starts, let me just get in your head really quick. This is what you're probably going to be thinking, but I'm just going to interrupt the programming and tell you I want you to look to be aggressive. That's it. The advice is good, but the timing is what's really
got
good.
it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I've done this a lot with certain partners. Is hey, I'm giving you the green light to go with your aggressive serve.
Yeah.
And let's see if we can get a short return.
Yeah.
And play this. See if we can really be offensive and aggressive on this one. And then when I serve the next point, we'll play our normal game so that we have let's take our shot.
Love that. I mean, I learned that from Andre Desky, really playing with him this year. Everyone's always so impressed with his consistency and how smart he is. And something he taught me and I noticed he was doing was in these tight moments, firing. And I think it would catch the opponents, frankly, off guard because they're like, whoa, you were just supposed to, do what you've been doing this whole match and didn't cross court with me. And now you're like appearing out of nowhere and being really aggressive. So I've tried to take a more aggressive mentality for myself in tighter moments because I know my tendency is to be conservative and just dink. And because I'll sit there all day and dink. I'm very comfortable. Like, go ahead, attack me. I'll counter. So I've tried to take a little bit more of that approach to my own game. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know.
No, it's like I think it's the when do you time pulling that off?
Yeah, it has to be smart.
And so it's like if he's the idea of let me just I'm just changing up the pattern.
Yeah, he does.
That you weren't expecting. I mean, the one thing when I'm looking at pros play, like here at Jeff's Courts at Piccadilly, we have a lot of pro play all the time. And I've been injured for a while, so I kind of sit on the sideline as the peanut gallery, and I'll see so commonly like a nice little backhand down the line speed up works.
Yeah,
it's like great shot, and then the same pattern happens. 3 points later, that same shot, and then it just gets annihilated. And it's like the same thing doesn't work
every time
on pros. Like once you get one free one. If you have like a little sick trick, the first one's free because they're not going to see it coming. But pros are good, and they're like, okay, well, I haven't seen that before, but now I have. Yeah. So you can't go to the well twice
Forever.
on kind of a low percentage thing like that. But like in Andre's case, if he's just been dinking and
Yeah,
solid the
yeah.
whole time, and then he takes this ball and just flicks it at you.
Totally.
Like,
He
whoa,
finds like the shot that he didn't do for the past,
Yeah.
15 minutes, the past game. And then it's like, oh, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Roll the dice.
I think it's like the good players can make the right adjustments to begin with. The better players can adjust to those adjustments, and the greatest players can adjust to the adjustments to their adjustments. It's like a game of like circular adjusting to how they're changing their own strategy.
Yeah, and that the top pros have played each other so many times.
Yeah.
And they've watched film. They're like, okay, I'm trying to keep in the back of my mind what I've seen you do in tight moments before.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, okay, it's not going to just be this. I have to be
this
ready.
This guy likes to reach in with his backhand and flick. This
Yeah.
person speeds up cross court, whatever that may be.
So there is a lot of games inside the games, inside the games.
I know,
for
there
sure.
really is.
Well, we clearly could talk to you for 3
know,
hours.
literally.
But I know we've hijacked enough of your time today. Did you have any final questions?
No, I just want to
Jill,
say
or-
thank you so much. I've even picked up nuggets on this podcast every time you open your mouth, and I'm lucky enough to be in the vicinity. I learned something. So, Scott, thank you for putting up with me, being my coach, being our MLP team coach. I'm
is
just
a
so
pleasure.
excited for the future.
And do you want to pick up new athletes if someone wanted to take a lesson?
Yeah,
from you?
how should they get in contact with you?
Are you full up?
So
your roster?
Right now, I spent so much time teaching amateurs at the park. I'm kind of enjoying this new phase of working with pros.
Yeah.
So it's like I am open to working with pros or up and coming pros.
Okay.
Like that kind of seems to be like what I enjoy doing.
And
now.
should they Instagram you at SoCal Lefty or email you?
Yeah, no, that's a good way
yeah.
of getting to me, and then we can talk, and I would enjoy that very much.
Well, thanks again for coming on the pod.
Thank you.
So looking forward to spending much more time with you. And I'm sorry, but you're trapped in a seat next to me on our flight to Beer City. So good luck with that. Bring your Bose headphones.
Jeff Wynn and I have talked pickleball on cross country flights nonstop. I think on a flight from Japan, which is like 12 hours, Zach and I talked about pickleball almost the whole time.
Amazing.
So there's no end.
There's
to
no
this
end to the well.
conversation.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
So that was Scott Crandall, you guys, also known as Kristen's new BFF.
Yes.
That's right. I get jealous. I see her texting late at night. She picks me up in the car.
Is it a hot blonde? Yes, it is a hot blonde.
She's on the phone with Scott. Scott this, Scott that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you're crushing, girl.
It was funny last week when we were at the house, I looked around and I was like, DJ should really frost his tips and then we'd have a fully blonde team.
Yes.
Yeah, Jeff too.
Jeff
while you're
Nguyen,
at it.
yes.
Can you just picture the frosted tips, baby?
We're doing it.
Let's
We're
go.
doing it. All right, you guys, we hope you enjoyed this Scott Crandall interview as
We
much
know
as we
you
did.
enjoyed this Scott Crandall episode. Are we hitting it too hard?
You guys, pickleball is joy.
Don't let anyone tell you differently. We out.
We out.
This Pickleball Life.